So welcome folks. Today we'll be discussing about building APIs using Next.js, and we'll be like first going through the introduction, what is Next.js and how it offers you the inbound capabilities of building full stack applications out there. So basically first you have to like I'll go through the main website that nextjs.org. So it shows the React framework for production. So make sure that you don't get confused by the word React. Always think about the word production. Production includes full stack. Okay, so it's a full stack framework. So production includes your front end and the back end, even the security aspects, the whole DevOps tool chains. Okay, so production involves all the stuff. So don't get confused with React. It is just a front end framework and nothing much, but it's a production framework, or you can say the full stack framework, and it has most of the features like image optimization, CDN support. Even you can write server side rendering, you can do the SSR, ISR, or a lot of stuff down the line. We'll be discussing about few aspects of Next.js and how it is designed, and we'll be seeing up some code and try to like mock an API and deploy to Vercel. So let's get started. It's about Next.js. So I hope now you're better like you know about what is Next.js, though not the complete, just like what it does. Okay, why is it a requirement? And companies need not. The main advantage here is that you need not to write front end and back end separately. It will be just in directly one repo, and you can directly manage it, maintain it, and do whatever stuff you want to. So Next.js is kind of you can think it as of React plus Heroku on steroids. So it is something like that. And here today we'll be building an API on Next.js, and I know most of you are beginners, so I want to choose very specific topics. What is client side and server side. So before we directly jump on to the article, I'll share this link with you, how the web works. This is the most important tool, or the most important resource, MDN, Mozilla Developer Network, and it helps to actually they have the developers who have built web, they have written all these articles. So it's always better to learn from them, those who have built the things outright from scratch. So they have like put up all the things. So I'll be discussing here like what is client. The client is like whatever you see, your mobile phone or the app you have taken out, right? The front end that you see, whatever you are seeing is the client side. Okay, and whatever is happening in the behind the scenes that you cannot see, like all the performance calculations, server side API callings, and all this stuff, that is handled by server. Okay, so you can only see the client side, and you're not able to see the server. That is what the what that's what the what is it, the perspective of having client and servers. Client is already publicly accessible to anyone, and server is only accessible to the particular organization, and in between them the communication happens via API, as you all know, request and response. So that's, I guess, you are already building few applications as it's a day one, and you have already brainstormed on the things. So this is kind of quick refresh for you that this is how client and server is designed. Okay, and there are a lot of other parts that you can look out, something like HTTP. Ankit, you have any doubts? We just started. You can if you have, you can ask. Ankit, you have any doubts?
Let me take care of that, Abir. I'll mute
Okay, sure.
everything. Yeah.
Sure. Yeah. Okay. So the thing is, there are a lot of protocols that happens, right? Whenever you're communicating between client and server. So whenever you're on like kind of thinking web related things, you are particularly using hypertext transfer protocol. So all this comes under down the line. You can deep dive into the things and try to know how DNS works, packets, what are packets. And I'm not going to deep dive into all the things, just telling you the main overview over here, like how client and server works. And make sure like keep it in your mind, like fix it in your mind that client should be exposed to public. Anyone can access client, but no one can access server. And every circle, like whatever you see client, you consist of some functions. Okay, whatever you see, that is client, and inside server you have some functions, and that is not accessible to public. It's only by you, that if you have created the server, you have the access. If your team has created the server, they only have the access, no one else. So that means server is something like super secret or top secret stuff. Okay, that you have to always keep it secret. So make sure you keep this mental model in your mind that client side is exposed to public, and public can do it anything on the client side, but server side is always visible to you, the creator, or the team, those who have created the server, and that's it, nobody else. So this is about client and server. And I guess you have I guess that's pretty much clear. But if you have any questions regarding client and server, let me know. mm, I don't think so. Just put it in chats if you have any questions regarding client and server, I'm happy to take it up. Okay. So uh now if I guess you know about client and server, and if don't hesitate to ask questions. You can directly drop your questions in the chat itself. Okay. Okay, client and server, it's not just you need JS to learn it. It's just like you can build it in any language, use Golang, Python, or anything. It's just terminologies that you have to understand that this is a notebook and this is another notebook. Okay, one notebook is publicly accessible, another notebook is just kept secret for you. Okay. Okay, you mean to learn Next.js? Obviously, JS or TypeScript, both support are there. So you have to know JS a bit, and you can learn JS from. I'll share the link that too, so that you can learn it from there itself. Okay, so you can use this to learn JS and be stick to one resource that will really help you. So this is about the basics of client and server side. Okay. And now local installation of Next.js using create next app. So first of all, go to nextjs.org, and there you see start learning and let's go to documentation directly. So when I'm going to documentation as a beginner, I'm going to see first what is getting started, like how to get started with Next.js. So there are some instructions that have been given, that you have to set up Next.js by running this command or running this command. So you see that, okay, this is TypeScript one. So okay, let me go with TypeScript only. It's just the superset of JavaScript. So we'll go with this. Okay. And let's try it out. Open the VS Code. I guess the VS Code is visible. I opened it. There's my terminal. You can see on the right hand side. I'll just zoom in a bit. Yeah, and just paste the things which I've just copied. Okay. So here it asks for what is the project name. Okay. And there's, suppose we are going to write it as API Fest. Uh, yeah, let's link it API Fest, and it tries to just install all the dependencies. Okay. So it tries to install dependencies over here. What you're going to see in node modules, just like if you attended the class session, you saw that node modules has all the particular dependence. Just similar thing over here. Nothing new. Everything is like same that you know, I guess already. I'm assuming it. Yeah, Chintan, Westboss is again a great tool, but if you are more into kind of looking for open source resources which are kind of free to learn, that's again javascript.info is there. Yeah. Yeah, to run it in Docker, you need a node image, and you can just like deploy that particular Docker image to into any AWS service or anything. So you have a complete Next.js up running in the production. That is just another way of handling things in DevOps. Yeah. So that is just about installing, and now we are going to see CD API Fest. So we're just changing the director to API Fest. So now we are in API Fest. You can see the branch over here, main. I'll just make it sure it's in top. So it's main, and now we're trying to run the dev npm run dev. It will just start a server. Okay, and the 3000 port. Okay, so now let's try out localhost 3000. Okay, so you see the server is running. It's just a boilerplate stuff that you have got. But today, the thing is, we are not going to build a front end over here. Okay, we are going to build a complete API which you can consume from any endpoint, from your Postman, from your applications. Okay, so we are trying to build a complete API over Next.js, not focusing on front end. So this is just the front end code, and I'll show you as per the Notion list. So we have completed the local installation of Next app. Now what we'll do, we'll see the code directories, like what is all the stuff over here. And let me just zoom in a bit. So here you can see the directory, right? Okay, fine. We'll go a bit slow, Rosni. Yeah. So the things that we have covered is that we kind of completed the introduction to Next.js, what is client and server side. We installed the Next.js using create next app, and we installed it via these commands over here. We'll share it. Okay, so I have shared it over here, and you can use these commands to actually just install Next.js. Open your VS Code and install Next.js. So once you are done with Next.js installation, you need to type this npm run dev. Okay. So once you typed it and just run this command, and now you can see something like this. This is the whole Next.js dev. It just looks pretty much front end, nothing. So will probably asking what is this? Like it's just a front end. You have just coded a front end. That's it. So, but we are trying to build a API out of it. So let's do it. Okay. So here, if you see, I'll let you know with the directories first. Okay. So this dot next is whatever you're not for beginners. You don't need to care about dot next. It's just like it will be used for your deployment, and whatever you deploy on Vercel, this particular folder will be used. That's it. Okay. And for pages, so pages has two different kind of things here. One is underscore app.tsx. This helps you to set up your initial page, that whatever you see right over here, this whole browser screen, this is coming under app.tsx. Okay. And this is just giving you a component directly over here, just react things. Okay. So it's just giving a component. Okay. And it's just rendering it. This is just what app.tsx does. Apart from that, index.tsx is what I'll tell you this. See, index is always the root file. Okay. Always, whenever root file means whenever you have something like slash, that's it. That's what index has. Okay. Now if I create a file, suppose about. Okay. So I created a file known as about.tsx, and let me just create just similar JavaScript stuff here. No, no hard parts. So we'll create a about.tsx, and we are going to return particular like HTML format. This is about page. Okay. And now we are going to export it so that it is visible, like it's being called by app dot. Whatever you export from here will be like it can be rendered on the underscore app. Okay. So now I just saved it, and now what I did, I try to do this slash about. Okay. So once I did this, you can see over here about page, right? So this is just created a route, right? So whenever you're creating a file inside pages folder, you're just going to create routes. Okay. Index is for root route, about is for slash about route. If I create a slash like if I want to have a slash postman route, okay, so I just created dot postman.tsx, and I just copied this and now pasted it over here and changed the about stuff with postman. Okay. So this is what I did. I just created a postman page, and now I'll try to go to postman URL. Okay. So here you can see postman page. So this is pretty much simple. Like you just creating files, and it is just creating paths. And if you create a folder and inside a file, it will, like, suppose I want to have a postman and slash one or slash abir.tsx or abir, something like that. You just need to create a folder of postman, and inside that you need to create a abir file. Okay, so suppose postman, and let's create ali. Okay, so ali.tsx, and we'll just ali. Okay, this is ali's page, and now we'll try to do this postman slash ali. So it shows ali's page. Okay. So this is what inside postman, everything whatever you do inside pages, okay, except API, everything will be exposed to public. Okay. Except API, everything will be exposed to public. That means except API, that is API is server side, and all of these things are or what? It's it's client side. Okay, so these are the client side files. Okay, and just we discussed in MDN, the client side should be exposed to public. So just all these files, postman, index, again inside this folder, everything except API is client side, and inside APIs will be server side. It cannot be accessed by anyone except you. Okay, so this is what Next.js helps you to do. And I guess page is very much clear. Let me know if you have any doubts so we can deep dive into more stuff in pages. You have any doubts, folks? It's clear. Okay, cool. So just reminding you again, pages is what is the main stuff that we are trying to do today. And under this we are going to have two different things. One is API, another one are just folders and files. So except API, everything is client side. And under API, whatever you create under API will be server side. Okay. So this is what you have to very much be very much clear with. And if you have joined very late, I'll just go through this once. So client is what should be exposed to public, and server is what should be kept secret from public. Okay. This is what in nutshell you can think about client and server. So I'll just delete this stuff. Okay, yeah, so now we have API and all these files, and let's see. So it shows 404 because the file is not existing, and this this is postman page. Okay, so we have most of the things now, and now what we're trying to do is, let me go to the Notion. So we have done the page directory, we have completed the API directory, and that means still some parts are left. So public is again whatever files that you want to store. Okay, the favicon. Favicon is this thing, whatever you see over here on the tab image. Okay, this is what favicon is. Okay, so the favicon image, if you click over here, it shows this one and this one, both are same. So this is favicon. Again, Vercel.svg, again, this is the SVG format of the particular favicon. Okay, favicon is just the tab image that you see, or whenever you're sharing URL in your WhatsApp or anything, that icon, some image appears, right? Whenever you share some URLs. So those icons are just favicons, nothing much. Okay, these are just public files. You don't need to, like, if you want to, if you put anything in public, as the name says that is public, it will be obviously exposing to public. So try to be like be very picky what you think, what things you want to keep in public and what things you don't want to keep in public. Okay, and coming back to our index. Okay, so there are a lot of stuff, and let me just go to the Notion this thing. So we have completed the Next.js code directory. So I'm now going to show you some server side functions, and make sure that you're very much attentive and focused over here. This will be covering a lot of important aspects of server side functions. That is, we'll be trying to, like, I'm trying to keep this very minimal and very beginner friendly. We'll be not dealing with pages today. Okay, someday later we'll try to figure out what is get server side props, get server side access, and all those things. But today we'll be just discussing about APIs which are completely server side. Okay, and if time permits, then I will show you, or like then I'll tell you about what is get server side and all those props things. Okay, that will, because I want to keep this very much friendly to the beginner perspective. Okay, so coming back to the main topic now. Awesome. So let's try to build some API endpoint, right? So how to build an API endpoint? Create a file under API folder. So I want to create a file where which can like give me some what you say get projects. So what we'll do, we'll try to have this get projects.ts. So it's an endpoint where you can get some list of projects. Okay, we'll be setting up some database stuff and all those things, but it will, for now I'll be showing you what the various endpoints that we'll be going to create. Okay, so get projects, what it does. So first thing, as the JavaScript or the TypeScript, both are similar. So just like all the same stuff, you need to write get projects. Okay, and you need to just export default get projects. Okay, this is what you have written a function, right? Now this function should need, like, this function needs a request and response object, just like express that you do. Okay, so express has request and response, like rec and rest that we do usually. So something similar, rec and rest we have to write. Okay, but being it's in TypeScript, so we have to just mention the type. This is next API request, and this will be next. This is just the type layer. And if you are in JavaScript, you don't need to mention these types, so don't need to worry about it. Okay, I'll just make sure to hide this. Yeah. So we're in get projects, and we have this rec res. And first thing that I want to check that whether the method is get or not. Okay, so rec dot method. If it is not equal to get, I will say abort the request. Okay, res.send or res.status, and what I'll say 400. 400, how I got this 400, let me tell you. So there's something known as HTTP status codes. Okay, so a response status code, and if you just see, 100 to 199 is for some information, 200 to 299 is for some successful things. Okay, redirection message, that is 300 to 3, some we are actually redirected to some other site. This is being mostly used by whenever you pay via Razor Pay or Google Pay. All these codes are being used there. Client error responses is 400 to 419. So 400 error is actually for whenever you are using a bad method. Okay, let me just show you. 400 bad request, the server could not understand request due to the invalid syntax, or in fact more descriptive will be method not allowed. Yeah, 405. So the request method is known by the server, but it's not supported by the target resource. So just all this technical words, I'll just make it like 405 and say this particular, if request dot method is not get. Okay, this just for getting project. If it is post and somebody is putting it in get projects endpoint, I don't want to run that. So I'll just send it. Okay, like this, and return the response. Okay, so this is what I did. Now next thing is, once it's done get projects, and let me just format it. Cool. So this is just returns the request, and now whatever inside down, like whatever from the line number 7, what will be, it will be only executed when the request dot method is get, because we are filtering the non get response. Like if it is a post or port update or any other request, it will get filtered on in 5 and 6 line. Okay, 5 and 6 over here, 5 and 6, and rest will be, and if it is correct request, it will jump to 7. Okay, so this is just the if else thing, nothing much. So now we have what we have to do is get projects. So we'll try to have a database. I'll say not the completely database, but something, an array, suppose. Okay, so let's make an array of projects. Okay, and let's do it like this. Put it over here. Const projects. We have this array, and inside that we have few objects, like we have name, and making sure that it is in JSON format. And I just name it API Fest, and we have just making sure that it has only names for now, so that pretty much easy with the data. Okay, not much details. Okay, so it has all the names only, API Fest 2023, 2024, and 2025. Okay, and this one, first one is like 2022. These are the projects, and suppose I want to get these projects, so what I'll do, everything is right now, nothing need to worry. So res dot send, what we'll try to do is add a body. Okay, so how it is done, we're going to make a JSON, like an object over here. Okay, just like JavaScript objects, and whatever you did in the class session, like making a JSON, something like that you have to do, and just pass on the projects. So that's it. Okay, and that's all that you have to do. And we have to return the request. So we are done. So one more thing, you should add some filters over here so that you get to know all this, how send, what is send function and what it does. Okay, this just creates the number of list of projects, and now try to run this API. Okay, so now we'll try to run this API over here. Let's see our files. Yeah. So if you go to slash API slash, what was the name? It was the get projects. Okay, so get projects. Okay, so we have to see what is the error. Okay, slash API. No. Actually, capitals. Yeah, maybe that may be one of the reason. But let's see. That should not be. But maybe let's NextJS things. Oh wow. So Utkarsh, that big claps for you. So this is the capitals, and if you are using capitals, we have to URL encode it. So that is one more thing to take on. Right. So this is one more stuff, URL encoding. Okay, so I'll let you know URL encoding online. Yeah. So here, if you go to URL encode and if you press capital P, what it encodes to. Mm, okay, so it doesn't show much. Okay, maybe this particular site is not working. I'm not sure. So just press capital P and let's encode it. It shows P, but maybe there's some percentile issues and all the URL encoding stuff is done. So no worries. This one is good. Good guess. Big claps, get projects, and now you can see the projects. The API calling is being done, and now you can even call this via Postman too. And to call this via Postman, just open Postman. I hope Zoom don't crash. So it's getting open. So let's wait for it till it gets open. Okay. So we have sent the projects, and now we can even like try to connect it with some database or something like that. We'll do it, and I'll tell you a good resource over here what to connect with, so you can use that in your projects too. The Postman is loading. Let it load. Till then, I'll go to the checklist. So we have seen the server side functions, like all this under the APIs that you can create. Okay, and it includes much more about get server side props. And if you go to these things, get server, like if you want to fetch some server side data from a page. Okay, like you want to show something on the page itself, like suppose I want to show some server side data over here. I want to show the suppose projects over here. How do we do it? Just use this particular function. I'll just copy it to show you so quickly as possible. So what it does, it tries to this particular function. Okay, get server, it is not exposed to public, it will be there. Okay, so you need not worry about it. Okay, so it just returns the props, whatever. You can call your API or you can call the projects directly. Okay, Postman has loaded, let it load. So here you can see, if we just export this particular file, export const projects, and we have just copied this name, and where's index and about Postman. Okay, so we can directly import it. Const projects equal to, so we just need to, it just imports it projects, and we are just going to send down that line process projects. Okay, similarly over here also projects, you can do it. And for now I'm just using any, because I don't want to define any interfaces or anything like that. And now you can, it's an array, as you know, projects is an array dot map. Okay, and you can actually run through the project list. This is what you're getting from server side. Okay, dot name. Yeah, I'll just make it sure that is any because we are not defining any interfaces in TypeScript. And yeah, so we have added projects, and we are just using this array to traverse it. Okay, so this is what we are doing. And now if we just see the Postman route,
Also,
let's see.
NextJS. Apa cinta nggak chat?
uh do you have any doubts, anyone was? Achal, can you mute if someone is some?
Yes, I just muted. Yeah.
Yeah, it is. So here you can see API Fest 2022, 2023, 2024, 2025. All of these are seeing directly over here. So you need not worry about it. Okay. So this project file. Okay. So this project file, yeah, props we can pass, but this is something we do not want to expose to the client side. Okay. Suppose I just want to showcase project number one. Okay. Just this one. But I don't want to showcase any other project. So I'll just make it sure something like this. It does. This whole function get server side props. It will be always running in the server side. It will never be exposed in client. No one can see your code, whatever written in server side. Okay, you can even call your database from here. So just I want to pass this as a prop. Okay, projects of 0 and reload it. It will just show APFS 2022. Only just this project name and string. There's nothing else. Okay, and no one can access my project file which I have created, project array. So this is what the API does. Like you can, so I showed you the server side code too. So showcasing of server side functions is also like completed. And I guess that's pretty much like for this. I won't deep dive over here because it has involved a lot of things that you can try out and look into docs, and then you can implement by own. Yeah. So this is what server side props does. Okay. So it just the name itself suggests it's server side. Nothing will be going to client. Everything will be staying on server. You are safe. Okay. Are we getting a code in a GitHub repo for later references? Yeah, sure. I'll be putting this in my GitHub. Don't worry. Okay. We'll do it right in front during the session itself. So next is that we have completed the server side functions. Now this is a good resource that I have for you, JsonBin.io. It helps you to host your JSON anywhere. Okay, so I'll just log in with Google. So logging in with Google, and I guess I'll just share this link with you. So once you can also try this. Cool, that's nice. It's good that you are putting efforts to listen this. Yeah, thank you so much. And let's go to this particular link over here. So I have shared you the particular JsonBin.io. Just create a account over there, sign up or login, and then you click on the second link. This is the beta version, so you'll be having the access for the beta version. Okay. So just use the second link after creating your account in JsonBin.io. So what it does, it helps you to actually host your JSON in cloud, and it's very cheap, and you can use it even for free. And for free, it is again you have some rate limits, but it is more than enough for you. Okay, if you go to JsonBin and see the pricing over here, features pricing, yeah. So it has like you can send 10,000 requests. Okay, and per day. So it's like for every account you can get 10,000 requests, and that's fine. And now what you do, once you are in the second link, once you click over here, click on bins directly and click on create a bin. So once you create a bin, you get something like this. Okay, here you can paste your JSON that we have actually built out in the project section. Okay, so we'll just do it right away. So I'm copying this, and we'll try to create a JSON over here. Under this, let me just make sure the chat is over here. Yeah, projects. And now I'm going to create the array. And I guess cool. So okay, so array is already there. So let me just make it simple for you. Yeah, this is the array and this is the projects. Click on save bin. Oh, this is showing invalid JSON because of a comma over here. Just remove that comma and save it. Okay, so it is has this JSON, and this is in cloud now. Copy this bin ID, have this bin ID with you. And what we'll do now, this bin ID is a secret. Okay, this bin ID is a secret, keep it in mind. Okay, so this is a secret and you have to put it inside an env file. Okay, so what I'll do is try to create an env file under API first. So nextjs .env is not the criteria. .env .local, because you are in your system. Okay, so that's why you have to use .local. And this is the bin ID. Just make sure bin ID. This is the bin ID. It's not an alternative for Express. Express, you have to code it from every scratch. Okay, now you can code in React over here. It's like you can use React components directly. Okay, and you can build your import your components and you can try out all the stuff. So Next.js is something React plus full Heroku on steroids, as I said earlier. It's a full stack framework. So now you have the bin ID, and what else do we need? Now we have to check out the API reference guide. Okay, yeah. So let's see the API reference guide. So I'll share the link directly over here. So now we're going to mock this API and try to like build over it, get some data, get the data from the bins API. Okay. So just go to get started in the bins API, click on read a bin. Because we are going to read a bin, that's it. This is the root. Root means is the base everything. Like whatever API you call, this should have this particular link in the front. Okay. So what we'll do, we'll just click on copy. And now we are going to go to get projects and try to like make sure that our URL and everything is directly over here. So const, we're going to do this, and URI, and we are going to do it like this. And now what we're going to see, what is the endpoint. So now if you see route over here, and there's something known as read a specific bean, you need to just concatenate these two, like concatenate and then just join these two. Something like api.jsonbin.io/v3/b/bin id, something like this. Okay, you have to do this much only. So just you const base URI, or you say the endpoint. Okay, so what we'll do, we'll try to create a template string out of it. It is just like importing variables in a string, and you just paste this /b/bin id. Now our bin id is in process.env, if you recall. Okay, so we need process.env thing, and make sure that here you don't need to even install .env, because everything comes with Postman. So everything comes with Next.js, so you don't need to worry about all this stuff. Just paste the .bin id over here, .env bin id, and this is your endpoint. Okay, and now I think this is done, and you need to set a get request. Okay, fine. And now the main point, X master key that we have to get. We have to add it as a request header. So adding it to request header, I'll let you know how it is done. Go to API keys page over here. Okay, so once you go over here, you can see a master key. I'll try to generate a, like, let me generate this, copy this key only. Let me generate a new key for this session. Yeah, copy key. And I just make sure that it is in .env.local. Master key. Yeah, so this is the env.local that we have saved it. And let's go to our dashboard and cross check out bin IDs and everything are same. Why is that process? Because see, process, focus on the word process. Process is what every OS system runs on. Whenever you're going to learn operating systems, process is a keyword. This VS code is running under a process. Okay, so similar, everything that you see, every environment variable, okay, is running everything under a process. So this is just going to process under that env, because we are using .env over here, and under bin id. So this is just a operating systems concept, okay, that you will be learning. Okay, so now a .env.local. So the thing is, dot local is being used for Next.js. That dot env is just for identifying the process, that it's an env, and dot local is for Next.js, that is a local environment. Okay, so this is something like this. Okay, now we have to go to reference docs. Where is the docs? I guess we messed it up in the docs. Let me just go to API reference and get started. Read a pin. Okay, so now we have to send the GET request. So what we'll do, we'll try to use this thing, Exaios. Okay, Exaios helps you to perform server-side fetching and all this capabilities. Okay, server-side request setting. So just like npm I Exaios, just do this. So what it does, it just use the it just basically helps you to do server-side stuff. Okay, so we'll try to do this. Exaios import request fetching and all those things are performed by Exaios from Exaios. Yeah. Now what we'll do, this is the get request. Like we need to get it from bin, right? So the URI is the endpoint. Okay. Now we have to set up a config. See the config over here, and let's do it inside an object. And what is the config? Config is we have to set up this headers. Okay. So make sure you type headers. Okay. Inside that you put this like this headers, and it's an object. Okay. Yeah, exactly. It is something, it is for local. That is, local word is for machine, that your specific machine, whatever your Linux, Mac, Windows, that comes under local machines. Okay. And if you go to production, it will be only .env. Okay, then. So this is what the main concept here is, process.env dot. Now I'll see .env dot local master key. Okay, so we're now going to master key. So here the master key is showing a string undefined, but yeah, fine, it's good. Let me just see. Okay, fine, nothing is core API access key, and you need to be okay, fine. This is fine. No worries. Request error. This is just a TypeScript error, so don't need to worry about it. And we're going to see await access. And okay, so here comes the async await. As this is, why is async await? Because see, this process will take some time, go to that API endpoint, fetch data, and then return. So it is taking a light time. So we are going to use async await over here. Okay, const response. And now then let's console.log, and we'll just try to load out the response. Let's see what happens. Okay. And let me go to the localhost /API /get projects. Okay. So invalid, undefined for header. Okay. So why undefined come? Because see, here we have started the server, but we haven't started uh, restarted the server, because whenever you're changing environment variables, you have to restart the Next.js server. Okay. So it shows you over here, like see note here, note, see, reading loaded env from this file. And now if you did any changes, you have to restart the server, because if you did any changes to .env.local, then only you have to restart the server, otherwise it auto restarts. Okay. Now request failed with status code 401. Okay, so 401, let's see what is 401. 401 error code. So what is 401? Node1 is not required because it's inbuilt, comes unauthorized, shows unauthorized. Okay, so let's see what is, why it's showing unauthorized. Okay, maybe because of this thing, the master key that we generated, copy key. Let's see why is it showing undefined. env.local master key, and we pasted it again. Restart the server, and I guess let's check what are the things that are required. Here is the read bins API, request headers. This is again curl script, JavaScript, and all these things. Okay, so this is one thing. So what you can do is set request header in XS. So sometimes you may have to actually see whether how to set a request in XS or something like that. But usually it is done. And let's see, like, okay, because fine, because sometimes headers are predefined, and let me just make sure that we are using correct notation of APIs. Yeah. So X master key is, so just go to XS endpoint. Okay, so as it is a TypeScript, so all of you know that TypeScript is kind of having a lot of confusions with types. So what we'll try to do, we'll try to use this declare global, which is actually merging the TypeScript stuff, Exios response. Well, let me just see. Request config. Okay, so we have to check out whether this headers is not, why is this, because it's undefined, and it is because we have to see why X master key is not being sent. Okay, and let's see, let's check out what is the actual error. Let me just, well, let's check out once more that why this is not being sent. Let's see over here, dashboard and API keys. Over here, like localhost. Let's see. Okay, there's some issues, failed to compile. Okay. There's some issues over here. Export. Okay, fine. Yeah. So what is happening? The TypeScript is not allowing X master key to be set over here in headers. So we probably need to Google out how to set the XS request headers in TypeScript custom. So here it shows something like content type and all these things, test header. Okay. So this is custom headers, and but what is the problem here that we have to check out is why is it not showing up? Yeah, because it is compulsory. Okay, let's make it as, okay, fine. Let's make it as string. And this was not related to custom header. I just saw now here. This is any in TypeScript. That means anything can be over here in headers and anything can be over here, but it should be a string finally. So we just made it as a string. And now I guess this time it will work, but let's see what is the real stuff down the line. So we have again 401 and we don't have any response over here. Okay. So let's see what is the main, whenever you're stuck over here anywhere, so just try to read the documentations. That will really help. Okay. And this is get, we have X master key, core API access key, you need API to most of any endpoint JSON, you find the key on API keys page. So we have added the X master key, but we are not sure why it's not working out. And let me try out again. If you don't store that master key, that can be found, directly paste it. Yeah, that is because yeah, that we can do in Next.js, that we can do because Next.js, this whole thing, whatever you see under API, it will be inside server side only. So that we can do, and it is not going to expose, but it's not a best practice whenever you are working in a team. So we can try to do that as well. but I don't recommend it in doing it production or whenever you're working in a team, because this code gets committed, right? So this code gets committed. That is why the main problem is. Okay, code gets committed, and that's what we don't want to do. Okay, so where is localhost? Oh wow, that worked, man, Aditya. So here you see all the API stuff that we are getting again, and here also we are getting it. And let me just send this response dot data. That's nice. Okay, so response dot data and dot see over here in console log. So here we have response dot data dot record. Okay, so we'll use dot record dot projects. So it's just sends the array of projects. Okay, and let's see, it's reloading it and it gets the array. Now if we try to change something, let's see, where is dashboard, and we want to change something over here. Edit. Okay, we don't have edit option. Okay, edit. So now suppose we want to make it, add one more 2026. Cool. So 2026, we are adding 2026. Okay, so we have 2026 here, and let's check out now, because see, remember 2026 is in our JSON bin but not in our array, so it should show 2026, and you can see 2026 over here, but in our VS code we only have till 2025. And if you delete this, and if you try to delete this file particularly because we don't need it anymore, and try to save this, still runs. Okay, so we have 2026, and this is what you can try to use. Let me show you the code again. But this, why this not happen? So maybe because we have to do it something like this: master key equals to process.env dot, and we have to make sure it is master key. Okay, now we try to console it if it really exists. So I want to give you a like real production experience over here, and let me just make sure master key as string. Okay, so this we have, and this is the master key, right? Master key, and this is what we are also using, master key, and let's run it. Okay, so now let's try to see this. Why is it not running? Okay, so this is what it's having some environment issues, I guess so. Okay, it is not giving the complete output, I see. And that's why it is not happening, because I guess here there's a dot, right? The new thing that you got to know over here is some dots are there, and maybe because of this. Not sure, but need to figure it out later on, that why this didn't work. Okay, so for now, as you see that we have got the particular endpoint data, and everything is working well. So you can similarly create other stuff. We're not going to paste it for now, but don't paste it like this, is very, very dangerous. So don't use it like this, because we need to figure it out, like why this is not happening. But later on we can do it. So no worries on that aspect. Okay, so here we need not do any node mon or anything. This is the this is the benefit of Next.js directly. Okay, so this is the projects that we have, and make sure you can use this JsonBin.io too. So we have created account, and we have also used JsonBin to store, going through the docs, set up request headers for reading JSON. We created an API, in fact, in the whole Next.js. We can create more, like delete projects, add projects, and all those things. Okay, so we created an API, and we have showcased, like I showcased you all the HTML, this thing, status code that you can read out. I'll share this link with you folks. And now the next thing, deploy to Vercel. This is the coolest stuff that I always like to do, deployment. Yeah. So we'll try to add it into GitHub repository and then do it. Okay. So github.com/ create a repository, and we'll try to create one repository, dummy repository, repositories, create a new repository, and it's a dummy. Okay, this is just dummy repository and dummy repo, something like this. Dummy repo, and it's going to public for now and create a repository. I know this whole thing, push an existing repository. So what to do, pushing an existing repository, just click on. One thing you notice, we didn't even need to install Git over here for the particular, but in using Express, you have to install Git and all other server side things, right? I just need to add it, and now we are pushing it to main. So we have any errors? Let me just see. Oh, DHTS config is fine. Okay, CD, we have to CD API first, and then we should supposed to add it, right? My bad, my bad. And we just push it. So once we are pushing it, it's in now main. Let's just go to this GitHub and just reload. Now you can see the code that we have written. We have that particular API key leaked, I would say, but let it be for now because we are going to delete it. Don't use such techniques, I would say. I'll show you how to add environment variables in Vercel. Okay, so vercel.com, and let me just create a new repository, new project, and here dummy repo. Okay, click on import. Here's dummy repo Next.js environment variable. So here you can actually add that master key and all those things. So we need one environment variable, that name is bin ID, right? So bin ID was getting read by the whole stuff. So env.env.local, we need this bin ID. Let's use this. Similarly over here, you need this, just paste it. This will kept in server side, so you need not worry. And click on deploy because we are not using master key at all. Okay, let's cancel this deployment. Let's add the master key too, because maybe there may be some issues that we run into, and I don't trust now this particular bug. Need to debug it. What is the actual issue? Okay, so this is the master key. So just add it, and now we're going to deploy it. Cool. You have any doubts so far? Let me know. This is getting built up. You can see all the stuff. It's reading just what's happening and just creating this. As I said earlier during the session, this whole Next.js next particular file, this will be deployed on Vercel. And out of this, only client side will be actually shown up. That is static, and it will show only the client side over here, nothing much. So here you can see it's deployed, and go to a dashboard, dummy repo, click on visit, and you're probably going to see this whole thing. But now what about the APIs that we created? /API /get projects. Okay, so we created this. Let's see if we get any projects now. Okay, so we are still getting 404. Maybe get project. Let's see why 404. API get projects. Let's see get projects. Okay, why this is 404? Let me to see now. Inspect. Into console, failed to load resource, status 404. Okay. So maybe there's some deployment and server side still happening, assigning of domains. Let's see what is that's happening. Deployments. Okay, this is done. Okay, dummy repo. Let's check. API. So what we are using in localhost, let me just check out the same stuff that we should get. Okay. Similar stuff. Okay, maybe Vercel is protecting it, but what is, let's see on Postman if it allows Postman to do this. Okay, so we are getting every time the status 404, but let's see now next up that localhost 3000 slash API slash get projects. Let's see if it is showing 404. Okay, so actually Vercel is protecting this endpoint. So we can search about it, how to go up and expose this particular endpoint. That's pretty much exposing Vercel API endpoint not working. Something like this we can try to figure out. And this is how Vercel server, and this is known error. And so this is what it does. And next year, come up the package.json script in my case and change to build next build. Not I remove next export. Okay. So this is coming out of Vercel, and what we can do is try to create projects to which is the recommended set to Vercel is having faster like Next.js support and all these things. Okay. So maybe because of there are some flags that we have to take care about. But if you see the overall the API is being working and you can use it directly. Package.json and over here package.json next build. Okay, this is a known bug and it's probably getting resolved. Okay. So I guess that's all that we have deployed something on Vercel and we are getting the data back and seeing the data. So that's all covers up for today's session. And let me see. Deploy to Vercel has been done, and few ideas that you can try out is like building a project-based website, like getting some awesome projects from GitHub and showcasing them via APIs, or it can be any Discord bot that we discussed earlier. So that all the ideas you can try out. Yeah. So Express cannot be used with React, but you can use if you are a React developer and like want to have some server-side powers, you can go with Next.js. Yeah, who is about to like anyone who has doubts now? So we'll have some doubts session. Yeah, there's some issues with the Vercel. Yeah, just let me know if you have any doubts. Till then, I'll just search out like why an API endpoint is not working. Yeah, because maybe some issues that we can debug it later out at what is, but the whole stuff is that API has been deployed and you can directly use it. Okay, so this is how it's done, and I guess that's all. So now you have any doubts so far? Let me just come back to the Notion. So we have completed almost all of the things. Yeah. And doubts so far?
I think people are definitely, like you definitely cleared a lot of doubts while, taking the session as well. So I think that is why people are quite satisfied with everything you have done.
Yeah, I feel so. And just there is one more concern that we'll try to debug this out. Why Vercel is not allowing? Because what happens usually you get the stuff like this. You have localhost slash API slash get projects. You're getting all the projects, right? Similar stuff you can do on Vercel too. Vercel, your Vercel URL and slash API slash stuff. Yeah. So just make sure that just try to like debug it out a bit, because it's just related to package JSON configs and all, and then we can proceed further. Yeah, that's all, Achal.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Abir, for the session. I definitely, I definitely loved it, and I'm sure that people were also. Yeah, I think I can already see the comments here that yeah, people definitely had a good time learning with you. Thank you so much for everything which you do for our community as well, and really, keep inspiring.
Thank you, Achal. That's so overwhelming for me. Yeah, thank you, Achal. Yeah.